So the Quest 3 has now been out for around 2 weeks. So now I'm going to be telling you my thoughts on the headset after 2 weeks of use. This is not all going to be positive, as there are definitely negative aspects that we need to dig into. One of these being my Quest 3 bricking. Hello there and welcome to RealityBreak, your one-stop shop for everything VR and AR related. You know what this video is about, so let's get right into it. Here you can find a list of chapters so you can find the details that you want, but I do recommend that you do watch the full video in order to get a well-rounded view. So I got my Quest 3 on October 11th, a day after the Quest 3's launch, which also happened to be my birthday. The unboxing experience is very nice and simple, and I love how much smaller the box is when compared to the Quest 2's. Meta's unboxings have always been nice, and the quality of the packaging was also very nice, so no complaints there. It even comes with a charging brick, which seems like a rarity nowadays. Right out of the box, you immediately notice the size difference between the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, and honestly it's impressive how much the size was able to be reduced. Most of this coming down to the new second generation pancake lenses. But the size reduction is kind of spoiled by the huge facial interface. And talking of the facial interface, you can now adjust how close your eyes are to the lenses by adjusting the eye relief settings on the facial interface itself. I feel the quality of that mechanism isn't great, and I feel like I'm going to break it every single time I adjust it. But the actual build quality of the headset itself is great. It feels very solid, and I feel like if I dropped it on concrete, the concrete would crack before the Quest would. So the build quality is pretty good overall. The controllers have also changed a fair bit as well, the most drastic change being the removal of the tracking rings. The Quest 3 controllers are now tracked through lights inside the controller that only the headset sensors can see. Hand tracking is also used at the same time to try to track them more accurately. People are wondering though, does this affect tracking quality? Especially as the two cameras on top of the Quest 2 are nowhere to be seen on the Quest 3. From what I've experienced, the tracking does seem to be slightly worse in the Quest 2's. I can only base this off my own experiences, but I feel like I am missing more notes in rhythm games like Beat Saber and Ragnarok. Another new part of the controllers is the new battery cover mechanism. It now features a small button you can press to release the battery cover rather than having to slide it off. I actually always had problems with taking it off on the Quest 2, so this small feature is actually a very nice improvement for me. On top of this, the controllers also have their new updated haptics, and you can really feel the difference, and they just feel great overall. Next, let's move on to the displays. The Quest 3 has Meta's brand new second generation pancake lenses, which offer a much improved clarity, and on top of this, they are also significantly thinner, which is the main reason the Quest 3 is as thin as it is. The new lenses, as well as the upgraded resolution, make for a much clearer image. This is especially noticeable in the menus, as they just look so much better. Although I do have a little issue with new lenses. This won't happen for everyone, but for me, I do seem to get a bit of lens overlap. I noticed it as soon as I put on the headset for the first time, but after using the headset for tens of hours, I actually don't notice it in games at all. It's kind of like seeing your nose. If you look for it, you can see it, but most of the time you don't notice it at all. Also for me, I didn't notice any difference at all when changing the IPD, using the slider on the bottom of the headset. The only thing I noticed was the FOV increasing and decreasing. It's not blurry for me, I just couldn't tell the difference. Before we do get to the next segment, if you haven't subscribed already, it would greatly help me out. I am still a very small channel just trying to make my way, so any support is highly appreciated. Anyway, back to the video. I want to talk next about the battery. This is one aspect I am disappointed with. I can play a standalone game like Dungeons of Eternity for around an hour and a half to 2 hours before the headset completely dies. On the Quest 2, I could get around 3 hours of playtime, so it is very fair to say that the battery life is disappointing. And when I can, I will be getting a Bobo M3 Pro strap to increase that battery life. Talking about the Bobo VR head strap, we're now going to talk about the default fabric strap for the Quest 3. It's definitely a big improvement over the awful Quest 2 fabric strap, but not big enough of an improvement that I don't feel the need to replace it. But I can play for around 2 hours before feeling the need to take a break. The facial interface is also an improvement over the Quest 2's. I never did replace the Quest 2's facial interface, and I won't be replacing this one either, although it does get a bit scratchy after a while. The headset's arms can also start hurting your ears, but if you position it just right, you can reduce that. Next, let's move on to a major issue I've had with the headset. My Quest 3 has bricked on me 3 times, but not fully bricked. I was able to bring it back to life through booting in safe mode, but without that the headset wouldn't turn on and wouldn't even charge. I contacted Meta support immediately and we think we found out why the headset does it. All 3 times it was bricked, I was using a link cable to my PC, and it seems if you're running NVIDIA GeForce Overlay or have an active antivirus, this could well happen to you too. When it first happened, I thought my headset had just fully broken, but luckily booting into safe mode, which you can do by holding the power button and the volume down button, did actually fix this for me. As I said, the headset did get working again, but it is a bug that needs to be fixed, as this did not happen with the Quest 2. Alright, so next, let's talk about the pass-through and mixed reality experience. The Quest 3 does great in this department. The pass-through with its new 4-megapixel color cameras is significantly better than the Quest 2's awful black and white pass-through. People have been saying the pass-through isn't clear enough to read their phone, but for me, I can easily read my phone and even read things like ingredients on food. I have noticed that the pass-through does perform much better in natural light than it does with artificial light, but both still work very well. The mixed reality game that comes through with Quest 3, First Encounters, is a great introduction and demo of the Quest 3's mixed reality capabilities, and it shows you just the start of how mixed reality can change VR. The pass-through is not perfect though. If you bring anything too close to your face, it will distort, but the improvement over Quest 2 is undeniable. Next, the sound. The Quest 3 has an updated sound system over the Quest 2, featuring its new enhanced 3D audio. The speakers sound great and can get a fair bit louder than the Quest 2. I even feel that they can get too loud, and usually play with them turned down at least 2 or 3 notches. On the other side of audio, the microphone. When recording on the headset directly, playing standalone games, the mic sounds good, but when connected over AirLink or Link, it sounds horrendous. Just listen to this comparison between Quest 2 and Quest 3.
So this is a mic test on the Quest 2 to just see how it sounds. The Quest 3 should sound better than this. This is a mic test on the Quest 3 to just see how it sounds. So I'm going to say a few words, and then you can judge how good it is. This is a mic test on the Quest 3 connected to my PC using a link cable. As you can tell, it does not sound very good at all.
There is clearly something wrong here. I do hope it's just a software thing and that Meta can fix it in an update, because as is, it's nearly unusable. Finally, let's talk about storage. So, when you first boot up your headset, the operating system is taking around 18 gigabytes by itself. So if you buy the 128 gigabyte model, you'll only actually have around 110 gigabytes free. Then, games like Asgard's Wrath 2 and Assassin's Creed are going to be around 30 gigabytes each, and the Medal of Honor VR game is also around 40 gigabytes. If you had all 3 of these downloaded, you'd only have 10 gigabytes left. Obviously, you can always uninstall and reinstall games, but if your internet is slow, you may not want to do that. So here, you have to think about whether you need the extra storage and if you're willing to pay an additional $150 for it. If you're going to be using the headset for mainly PC VR like me, then there isn't going to be much point getting the higher storage version. Though, don't get me wrong, I will be playing standalone games like Asgard's Wrath 2 and Assassin's Creed when they do release, but my internet is fast enough to make uninstalling and reinstalling games not a problem. So in conclusion, would I recommend the headset? Yes, I would, but right now there are definitely some issues that need to be squashed out. As I explained earlier, my headset bricked 3 times using Quest Link, which is clearly an issue that needs to be addressed. The Quest 3 isn't perfect, but I do think it is a good successor to the Quest 2. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. If I did miss anything, absolutely let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, hopefully, I'll see you next time.